Hey, Misty.
Hey, Amaryllis.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
There's so much to talk about.
Oh my goodness, we have a lot. We have a lot of
So much.
wonderful things to talk about,
We do.
and I can't even explain to you how proud I am of myself. Also, you.
Thank you.
I edited 2 episodes for Patreon. I actually did it. Like, they're complete.
It is magnificent. Very
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. And I just want to thank Kaiko for really encouraging me and calling me out in front of everybody in the world.
We're gonna have to start putting Kaiko on the marquee because you mentioned him so much.
I mean, he should really be like, what's the name of the person that, like, make sure you get all your stuff done? Like, that is like, you're going to lose this job if you don't do this.
Your life coach,
Well, not a life
maybe?
coach. No.
your assistant.
Kaiko is much more than an assistant, please.
Sure he is. Yeah, of course. Your manager?
Your manager! Yes!
Was that a real difficult word to come up with?
It was.
What have you been taking, Misty?
Kaiko, will you be our manager?
Do you know how to edit podcasts?
Will you do it for free? Just
We're
wondering.
a stage. We can't pay you.
And
Kaiko,
basically-
thanks for taking this job.
And basically, all you have to do is call us daily and go, why haven't you gotten that stuff done yet?
Are you planning on giving one of our listeners our phone number? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, no. No. You know, I don't pick up your phone calls. I'm
That's
not going
true.
to pick up anybody else's.
She's not wrong.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Misty and I communicate exclusively through
text.
discussing documentaries or text.
Or text, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I prefer to talk to everybody through text. I really don't enjoy phone conversations. So,
No. Yeah. I think about when I was a kid and I never was a phone talker. My little sister had it pretty much sewn to her ear.
Oh, I
and I
used
don't
to
get
be.
it. Like I can't.
no, I used to love to be I used to be on the phone constantly.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm crotchety in my older age. I don't
What
know
did you
why.
talk about?
Oh gosh, everything. I don't know. Everything.
I don't get
The
it.
only person I really talk to on the phone for a long amount of time is Avery.
Make sure it's really her texting.
Make sure it's
Yeah.
really her and she's
Yeah.
not been abducted. So yeah.
Right. I get it.
But other than that, yeah, I'm just not interested.
In other news, we have tons of updates on a few of our documentaries that we've covered. The first one I can think of is Gypsy Rose.
Gypsy Rose has gone wild on us.
Look, if it was the 90s, she would be on that man's Girls Gone Wild videos.
I know she would be.
What was his name?
Oh
Joe
gosh.
something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, y'all remember those videos, Girls Gone Wild?
Oh. Yeah.
Those were some life-limiting decisions
Oh.
those young ladies made.
And those young ladies probably have like grandchildren now.
Yes.
So it's kind of sad. I bet they ain't looking like that no more.
Like, don't go on YouTube and search this man's name.
Or maybe they're glad that they captured it. They're like, look at what
Yeah.
those used to look like before
That's
I had
true.
you.
That's true.
They're
That's
like,
true.
look, breastfeeding kills your
That's
boobs.
true.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I didn't breastfeed.
I mean, I didn't watch Girls Gone Wild. You did. So,
No, I didn't. I saw it on commercials for them on TV.
okay. I'm holding up air quotes commercials.
I didn't. I did not.
Maybe you were in one.
No. Well, these are magnificent. But
I mean, I was about to say that may be how he bought his mansion. I'm not gonna make any assumptions, but like, yeah.
well, Gypsy Rose is free.
She's free.
She has paid her debt to society. I don't know how long. Like I think she has to. She's on probation, so I don't know how long that's going to be. I don't know if it's like a year or 5 years or what it is. But she is on probation. But she's free. She doesn't have like a ankle monitor or anything like that. She's just has to check in with a parole officer.
Right.
But old Gypsy got married in jail, in
Yeah.
prison.
Yeah.
Now Gypsy had 2 fiancés while she was in jail, in prison, before she had this 3rd fiancé.
I've said it once. I'll say it 1,000 times. Anybody can get married.
Look, and if it's not working out for you right now, maybe consider a felony.
Sure.
And
People love to write people in jail
oh my word.
for some reason.
Yes.
I don't-
And if you do commit the felony, make sure it's big. Like, make sure it makes national news.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Gypsy Rose.
Not anything against us. Don't make national news by committing a felony against us.
Oh my God. Cut this out. You're giving people whole idea is to commit felonies against us. No, and we have at least 3 enemies.
That's right.
Ox, Abby, and Jeffcoat.
Jesco.
Jesco.
He hates us even more because you can't get his name right.
I'm sorry.
Jesco White.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there is love to be found in prison.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was engaged 3 times
Thrice.
in prison.
Mm-hmm.
She married that last one.
Yeah.
But it was iffy there because that second one came back around and said, hey, you want to give it a go again? And she said, no, I'm sticking with what I've got.
Yeah. She said, this one looks like he's down for the long haul.
So they got married. It was a big to-do. Or rather, when they got out of prison, it was a big to-do that he was there to help her and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was January. About 2 weeks ago, she says, guys, I'm getting a divorce.
She said it's
not working out.
It's not going to work out.
But you know why?
Yeah.
Because that second fiance has come a-knocking.
And apparently that day was not as far as she talked about.
No. Also, she just had a nose job.
What?
Yep. She just had a nose job.
Are you serious?
I'm not lying, yeah. I saw pictures.
Her daddy gave her that nose.
He sure did.
How about I would be offended if I was him. And I really like him.
Yes, I like him.
And her nose is what makes her so recognizable. And those
Well,
little
that and-
tiny eyes. What?
That and her record.
Well, I mean the whole
I killed my mom.
murder thing, I'm sure, yeah, but mostly the nose.
Yeah, so she's got it done. Anyway, so she's living her best life.
Well, go
She's
on.
in the middle of a divorce,
Go
dating
on.
her ex-fiance, and she's got a new nose.
Go on, Gypsy.
I know.
Do what you got to do.
What else have you got?
Let me tell you what's really been on the forefront of my mind, and that is the marriage of Abby from Abby and Brittany, TLC, connected twins. Okay, the news came out that now y'all know who Abby and Brittany are. They are Siamese
Conjoined
twins.
twins.
Oh. I'm sure that's offensive on a lot of levels to say what I just. Is that offensive to say?
It? I don't know.
Is it okay to say Siamese twins?
I don't know.
We are Siamese, if you please.
Okay.
See,
I'm
Google
about to
it and
look.
see if it's offensive.
Some consider the term Siamese twins to be offensive because it refers to a birth defect and links ties and Thailand to it.
Okay, well, listen.
Others may consider it an ethnic slur.
Oh.
The term conjoined twins is preferred over Siamese twins. And certainly we don't mean it offensively.
Well, I'd just like to apologize to everyone out there who's Siamese. Is that a nationality? What? What? No, I'm being serious. Is that a nationality?
Siam. It comes from the word Siam.
Okay, I'd like to apologize. That was not meant to offend you. And also, I'm an advocate, so I can't even offend people with special needs because I'm an advocate. And
That's right.
I have children with special
Siam
needs.
is the former name of Thailand. That's what it used to be called. So it's like saying Thailand twins.
My apologies. Conjoined. So Abby,
To all our Siamese fans.
so Abby and Brittany are and to our conjoined fans, we don't know.
That's true.
So Abby and Brittany are conjoined twins. Now the way in which they are conjoined is that which it's not, but it looks as if there's 2 heads on one body,
Yes,
right?
They are remarkable.
Yes, but now each twin controls whatever side of their body their head is on.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. And they're smart girls, they're teachers.
And they have 2 different brains. They're 2 different people that
Yeah.
happen to be
Like,
fused.
I control both sides of my body, and I couldn't ride a bike until I was 12.
Right.
They were riding a bicycle,
Yeah.
figuring it out, working 2 different brains and 2 different sides of bodies
Yeah.
at like 6.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, they drive a car. They can do whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, a video came out of them dancing at their reception with
Well, they both didn't get married.
I don't believe that. It's what they're calling Abby's husband. I think the reason that they're doing that is because it's illegal to marry more than one woman, right? So they had to only name one woman on the marriage certificate, and to keep down any polygamy rumors,
Interesting.
they had to do that. Because tell me how you have
Relations.
hide your children's ears, maybe your husband's, but whose vagina is it?
Well, they share it.
Right. So it's both of theirs. So how is he just going to say, well, I just like Abby, when he's cohorting with her sister's private parts at the same time? Right? And you're going to tell me he touches just one boob? Amaryllis, you know as well as I do that you honk both those horns. Right? Amaryllis, come back. I'm
here to tell you that that's the truth.
That's the truth.
That is
And if your man's just paying attention to one, there's something wrong.
There's something wrong.
There's something wrong.
Right.
So you're going to tell me you're not married to Brittany and all that's going down? I mean, what's Brittany doing? Putting on a blindfold? What?
She just is getting the benefits.
And if
also, I don't know.
And if she plugs up that ear, can she not hear what's
happening? She's reading a book. She's
happening.
She's doom scrolling on TikTok,
right?
But also,
and they're close. I mean, this is
Misty, they're conjoined.
Stop.
Conjoined twins are not very close.
I don't mean like
they hardly ever talk.
But remember the documentary we did on the conjoined twins?
Yeah, Bound by Flesh.
Bound by Flesh. Well, they had like a piece of skin, so like they could at least put a curtain up between them.
Yeah.
If one was entertaining a gentleman friend and the other one wasn't.
That's true.
Her head is right beside his while they're making out.
Yes,
on
that's
this
true.
side.
And I often when I see those young ladies, my neck hurts because their heads are like there's two heads on one neck.
Yeah, and I'm kind of irritated about that too because y'all picked Abby as the bride. Meanwhile, Brittany's had a crick in her neck since the day she was born. Why couldn't she get named? Her head's off to the side. Brittany's gotten to have a straight neck her whole life. And you're going to take this from Brittany now?
You seem very upset.
I'm really upset about it. I really am.
Okay.
I really am. I mean, I think, and it's almost rude. You made Brittany wear a wedding dress too, but it's not her wedding.
Yeah. Would you want her to wear a bridesmaid's dress?
Well, they could have done a split down the middle, like when they do that for Halloween, when one side's Sandy and one side's Danny from Grease.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have done a split down and she could have had a bridesmaid's dress, but no. She's in a wedding dress. That's not okay.
And that kind of goes more to like prove your
theory. It proves my theory.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad if my theory's correct.
So here's the thing. I have just not thought about
this. But I am mad if my
have.
theory is incorrect. I'm mad about it.
If it's incorrect?
Team Brittany.
I hope she's listening.
I hope so, Hansel. That's her last name. That's still her last name if she's not married. What? Again, with this.
I think those girls are, they're teachers. They teach, like elementary school.
Do you know they make them share one salary?
No.
I watched a special on it. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's not fair.
No, it's not. That's interesting because they're.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Is I'm upset about it. I want to know if they're both married or if it's just the one. If they're both married to him, amazing. That's wonderful. I mean,
God, boo.
God love them. They've had to share everything, and they're going to have to give birth if they have a baby. That kind of thing. So
right.
It should be that way. But if it's just Abby and they have told Brittany to close her eyes and ears, forget it. Yeah. I'm mad. I'm mad about it for Brittany.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And now we have some big news. Now, what have we been promising for the last year?
Da, 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 da.
It's here. It's finally here. It's finally here.
It's here.
It's here. We are, finally relaunching Patreon.
Woo!
Yay! Right now, as you're listening to this, you can go to patreon.com/onthedock. Mm-hmm. And you can go on there. If you are an OG listener who signed up for Patreon back in the day when we did it like 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, I think. Mm-hmm. And you guys signed up and you were faithful and you were great. You are in. You're good and you are at the same tier and we're giving you the same benefits that you had before. We've revamped all of the tiers, but you are staying on yours.
And you're the OG tiers.
You're the OG tier. You won't see it on there, but you should be able to see everything like you have before. For everybody else, you can see there's a bunch of different things to pick from. We have some really fun things planned, and this is it. I know we kept telling y'all we were going to do it, but we wanted to do it right, so we've been putting the work into it.
Yeah.
We weren't just hanging out
Right.
and making excuses. We just really wanted to make sure everything was set and in place and that we had a good plan. And we are so pumped.
Yay!
So pumped to build up this community again.
Yeah.
So go on there. Just go and support us because, this is a labor of love for us. We've been doing this in June. It'll be 4 years. And we love it. We have loved getting to know all of you. We've loved emails that you send us, phone messages that you've sent us, the stories and the encouragement that you've told us. We love it, love it. And we just want to keep kind of building on that.
Also, PG would love it if I could pay a bill or two. I mean,
Ditto.
Ditto. It would be helpful.
I've got an anniversary coming up.
Well, and here's the thing. Podcasting is not just sitting down and us talking and having fun, though it is. But there's a lot of work on the back end of it, and
we would love to be able to have somebody to actually help us.
We'd love to be able
and,
to make this a more
people aren't gonna do it for
quality.
free.
Yeah, a more quality podcast. So just support us, share. Y'all have done a great job doing that so far, and we hadn't even really been good at it before. So
we just love talking, and
just love
we
to
can't
talk.
believe anybody has listened for more than 5 minutes.
And we're thankful
So
that we
humbled,
still get
yeah.
to do this.
And
Yeah.
it's hard to humble us.
It really is.
It really is. We're very not humble. Right. So you guys have humbled us. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got a documentary that we need to talk about here.
Yeah.
We decided to do this one because I said, oh my gosh, look at what this, I read this description and I thought we have to do this.
Yeah.
And so I sent Misty over a message and I was like, let's not do Quiet on the Set. Let's do this. So we decided to do what Jennifer did. What Jennifer did. It's brand new on Netflix. It can't be more than 2 or 3 days old because I check every day and I just saw it.
It was so new that I had to search it to
Yeah.
find it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's true crime. It's true crime and it's on Netflix and it's set in Canada.
Which, true crime is my personal favorite.
Jennifer, this is a true crime show based out of Canada. You can tell right away from their accents. I can't really do a good Canadian accent. I know a boot. You know how they say
I
about
don't really
differently?
listen to Canadian people and think they have an accent.
Oh yeah, they totally do.
I think anybody that doesn't sound like me doesn't have an accent. Like, that's
Yeah.
how you're supposed to talk.
Oh, this is a very Canadian group, but it's a place called Markham in Canada. And around 10:30, the police get a phone call, and there's this young voice, like a young lady, calling and saying somebody's inside my house. They're shooting, and the police get there as fast as they can. And when they get there, there's 2 victims. One is it's an Asian family. They're Vietnamese, and one is the mom. Her name is Bic Pan. It's Bich, which is an unfortunate name.
I'm not
in
going to tell
America.
you what I wrote in my notes. I wrote Big Pan.
Bic. Her name is Bic. Like that's how they said it, Bic Pan.
Yeah.
And she was unfortunately deceased. She had been killed. And her husband, Han Pan, and he had a head injury. He had a severe head injury. He had a gunshot wound to the eye.
I wrote Pan Pan.
Han Pan is his name.
I could not understand.
Did you not use the captions?
I never do that.
Oh, I
I
always
probably
do.
should.
Yeah, I always do. So the Pan family, they were Vietnamese immigrants, and the daughter is the one who's calling, and she's not injured. She's been able to escape scot-free, and she has no idea. She's like, I don't know why we would be targeted.
And her name's Jennifer.
Her name is Jennifer.
Yeah.
That's right. No, actually, her name is not Jennifer.
Yes, it is.
Why do I say Hannah?
I do not know.
In my notes, I wrote Hannah in bold, so I would be able to identify.
Why would the documentary be called What Jennifer Did? If her name was... Never mind. Leave my stuff in. You sound like an idiot.
I wrote Hannah. Maybe I was thinking hand pan. I don't know.
That's what you're thinking.
I guess. Okay, so Jennifer. So they had there's no eyewitnesses. Okay, there's none except for the daughter. Okay, so Randy Slade is the homicide unit investigator, and look, I even rewrote it again. Misty.
Hannah.
Her name. It says Hannah tells about her mom. Hannah went to bed early. Like,
her name is Jennifer.
Why did I do that? What Jennifer did.
Are you going to Google and see if this girl's name is Hannah?
Yes.
Honey.
That's her name, Jennifer Pan. Why did I write Hannah?
Of course her name is Jennifer. The documentary is called What Jennifer Did. It was.
I don't know why I wrote Hannah over and over.
I need you to be sober when you're watching these things.
I will try next time.
Okay.
I will try next time. All right. So she goes to bed. So she's talking to the investigator, and she goes, "Well, my mom, Hannah." Hannah says, actually, Jennifer tells about her mom had prepared dinner because she was going to go out dancing, and so she
not just dancing,
line dancing.
Line dancing. I was like.
Babe.
Yes, Vic.
Yes.
Get your boots on and go.
Yeah, she did. She did. She wanted to go dancing.
And she didn't even take her husband. She said, bye.
That's right. She went on her own.
I'll do it myself.
Yeah, she went by herself. And so around 9:30, so Jennifer goes to bed early. That's what she tells the police.
Yeah, right.
And
Jennifer.
around 9:30, all of a sudden, her mom is yelling for her dad to come down. And she said she saw a man holding a gun to her mom's back. And then the three men dragged Jennifer down the stairs, and they asked her mom where her purse was, and the mom is crying. Like, it's just chaos, right? It's like everybody's screaming, and there's just these terrible things happening. And they had guns, and she said, I think they tied her to a chair. I don't know. And
she said they kept getting like really irritated with her mom because there was a bit of a language barrier there, and so they kept saying, give me your wallet, and she was like, my purse. Like,
right.
She didn't understand, and she was just trying to explain, like, it was really chaotic, and it felt like that they just weren't getting what they wanted or fast enough, and so everything just kind of went crazy.
Yeah. And I actually just said she said that they brought her down the stairs, but they didn't. She was still in her room. Like, she was hearing all of this go on downstairs. Mm-hmm. And she said, the last thing that I heard is, you lied to us. You lied to us.
No, they did. No, they did bring her down.
They did?
They tied her up. They tied her hands behind her back and brought her down where her mother was, because she said she kept telling her mother, sit down, like, just calm down. Let's do what they say. And when they got irritated about the whole wallet purse thing, they said, you know, we're going to take your daughter up here. We're going to take y'all. And so they took the daughter back upstairs.
Okay, I missed that.
Tied her wrists behind her back to a banister.
Yes, I do remember that part.
And all her mom kept saying was, can my daughter come too? Can my daughter come too? And they said no.
And she said the last thing I heard was them saying, you lied to us, you lied to us. And then she heard two pops. She said her dad yelled her mom's name, and then she heard another pop. Mm-hmm. And then that's all she wrote. So the police detective, he said he understood how traumatic this could be for a young woman her age, but he also needed her to keep talking because she was the only person other than the criminals who had done this.
Well, and usually they want them to tell everything within the first 24 hours. That's right. Because after that, you know, the human memory just it's the way it is. And
they assigned like an advocate for her. It's called the victim liaison officer. Her name is Deborah Gladding. So they assigned that to her. She keeps an eye on her. Hey, are you okay? Do you need a break? Do you got to go to the bathroom? Do you need some water? Are you hungry? Whatever. Mm-hmm. So she's just mindful. This is a horrible thing. And I want to make sure that, Jennifer, you are okay. You're good. Yeah.
Well, and
she says the intruder shot one more time after she heard the pop. And they said, we got to go now. It's been so long that we've been in here. So we've got to go. Mm-hmm. And so they asked her to describe the intruders.
Right.
What do you think she said?
Well, she said that there were three. Mm-hmm. One was a black guy with dreadlocks.
Sure, of course.
The other guy was a thinner black guy.
With a hoodie.
Mm-hmm. And then the third guy was a black guy with a Jamaican accent.
There's so many Jamaicans in Canada.
So many different black men are a part of the story. I mean, like, it's like she thought, how many different types of black men can I talk about?
Do you remember? Right. I mean, it's so freaking stereotypical.
Yeah. Well, and another thing she did was they kind of wanted to get an idea of like the family's finances and stuff, because they're thinking, is this a target because of money or drugs or whatever? And so they asked her, they were like, what kind of cars do your parents drive? Because she had said, they had asked her, are your parents wealthy? And she was like, I mean, I wouldn't say we're wealthy. Like, we can pay the bills and stuff. And they said, okay, well, like, I mean, what kind of cars do your parents drive? And she was like, a Lexus and a Mercedes.
I mean.
And they were like, okay, well, those are not nice cars, okay? And they said she lived in a really nice home. It wasn't luxurious, but
right.
They had nice things. Like, these were people who came from Vietnam and worked really, really hard and created a life where, they weren't overly luxurious, but they had nice things.
So Vietnamese culture is like this. Vietnamese immigrants are like this in that I can sort of speak to, not to the Vietnamese culture, but to immigrant culture. Mm-hmm. And I'm very interested in the way different cultures, when they come to the United States, how they assimilate and how they don't assimilate sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I can speak from the Cuban perspective, and I can speak to that all day long if you ever want me to, mm-hmm. about how it was a matter of a single generation before they were able to overcome any kind of obstacles. And the Vietnamese culture is really known for being frugal. When as immigrants, they're just very hardworking. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about cheap. I'm talking about people who save their pennies so that they can work hard now so that they can later on enjoy the fruits of their labor.
Right.
And this is exactly what it sounds like to me. They have this nice home. Mm-hmm. They are workers. Mom works all the time.
Yeah.
They're saving their pennies, and they have bought themselves beautiful luxury cars because they can, and they've worked very, very hard for it. Well, and their first generation American daughter has not American, Canadian, North American, mm-hmm. wasn't quite understanding the kind of privilege that she had.
Right. She was not impressed with what the lifestyle they had provided her, really. And the really odd thing about it to the investigators was that, the house was ransacked, and they did have these nice things. They had a Mercedes, and they had a Lexus, and, they had nice things in the house. There was a safe, there was money, there was jewelry, and nothing was taken.
Right. It was all untouched.
Nothing.
They were like, this is really weird.
Yeah, nothing was taken. I mean, you're going to go in there and say you lied to me enough that you would take their lives, but you're not going to grab the wallet that's sitting right there on the table. You're not going to take a car so that you're not leaving in the car that,
right.
People
the keys
saw
are right there, buddy.
The keys that people saw pull up next to the house. You're not going to steal another car, so they can't. It just didn't make sense to the investigators.
It's suspicious.
Right.
So the detective starts really wondering about this. They're like, something's not adding up. So they figured out that Jennifer, who, by the way, I am still calling Hannah about halfway down my notes here.
I cannot believe. I do not understand what you were doing.
So in the first 6 hours, there was no information. They could not get anything from her. And then they learned that she had dated a guy named Daniel or Danny Wong, who he was in the neighborhood, and he turns out to have been Jennifer's boyfriend for a really long time.
Well, yeah, they had actually gone out on day 2 around 8 a.m. and had started canvassing the neighborhood. Yeah. Because they're wanting to kind of get an idea of what kind of people these people are.
Everybody says nice things about them.
Yeah, everybody said they're really nice, they're really quiet. We didn't really know them, but from everything we saw, they were generous people, they were nice people, they were quiet, they kept to themselves.
Well, they had that one friend who, she didn't speak English, and she was like, I don't know what's happening, because they were so hospitable and they were so nice.
Yeah, and so it was actually one of their neighbors that brought up, because Hannah had...
Jennifer, Misty.
I'm sorry. Jennifer had never even mentioned having a boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was crazy. Yeah. He says, so he goes and gets questioned, and he says, hey, I was home asleep, and I'm not really that much into drugs, and
we broke up 10 years,
and
2
we
years
broke
ago.
up. Yeah, I'm her ex-boyfriend. I'm not her current boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he said I wanted to stay together, but her parents were super strict, and they didn't want them together, which is also very Vietnamese, right? Where they a lot like Cuban families, where not so much in the United States, but in Cuba, young ladies stay living at home until you're married. And it's sort of almost like this, where the parents really had a big say in what they expected you to do, who they expected you to be with and marry and be friends with.
Well, you're still considered theirs until you're married, right?
That's right. And that's cultural. I mean, that's neither here nor there. It's just cultural. And then the other thing is...
I'll tell you what, Joyce and Johnny couldn't wait to get me out of the house.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But they also... The other thing that they felt like they had a big say in was her life, her career, her... These are your 2 or 3 options for career, and really we're not going to talk about anything else.
And they were not anything below like a doctorate,
engineer, physician.
Yeah,
that we're talking about
upper level
STEM,
education.
we're talking about STEM careers.
Right. I mean, they had very specific jobs that they felt like she should be.
That's right. So Daniel's like, we dated for 7 years, and not he wanted to stay together, she wanted to stay together, but the parents didn't want them to be together, so they broke up. And so now he's got a new girlfriend, and he said he and Jen were being harassed by these phone calls. Where have we heard this before?
Well, they've been broken up for 2 years, and then they start communicating occasionally because these harassing prank phone calls and like texts had started. And so that's how they kind of started talking again.
That's right.
It wasn't like they remained close
and
friends.
These phone calls were just, they would be like, ring, ring, and then
you sound like you've done that before.
I'm not confirming or denying. But it's just somebody would call and just breathe and then hang up. And then that kind of morphed into text messages. We're watching you, which is, I mean, is this like a standard stalker situation thing?
Then she said that they got one that said bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
I mean, was it Bugs Bunny? Did he have a gun that shot out a sign that said
Ricky
bang,
Martin?
bang?
Was it Ricky Martin?
Maybe.
She bang.
She bang.
Yeah. I'm just saying, is this where you create your own problem? That is the mark of someone who is probably going to get a true crime documentary.
Yeah.
Named after them.
Yeah.
All right.
And it ain't going to be Hannah.
And it's not Hannah. It's going to be Jennifer. It's going to be Jennifer. So now suspicion starts falling on Jennifer because, hey, what's going on?
Well, now let's talk a little bit about the dynamic of Jennifer and Danny's relationship. So they said that when they were together, even though her parents didn't really want them to be together, her friends said that it was very
volatile.
Dramatic and volatile. And that Jennifer was the type of girl that wanted to keep this relationship no matter how volatile it was, to the point that she would do things like go and work all summer to buy him a $2,000 paintball gun. Okay?
That is a gift.
Ladies, mothers, if your son is dating a girl who will work all summer to buy them a $2,000 paintball gun, girlfriend is obsessed.
He's like, I've got a girlfriend, but if you're going to buy me a $2,000 gun, who am I to say no?
I mean, maybe our fight wasn't that bad last night.
It wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
Another thing that really threw the investigators was they ended up getting some security camera footage from the house across the street.
Yep.
And, Ring doorbell camera or whatever. And you can see...
I don't know how they saw anything. Did you see that video?
Yeah, it's very grainy, but I could see the figures. And I'm sure from their perspective, they could kind of zoom in and do all that kind of good stuff.
Maybe it was different, yeah.
But it lines up with Jennifer's story because there are 3 men that come running out.
Yeah.
And jumping in the car. But here's the deal. There was no forced entry.
No windows knocked out. No locks blown. Yeah, it was, somebody just walked right in. That's right. So they called Jennifer back.
Yeah.
They were like, we need to have some more conversations with you. And she says, well, Daniel was my boyfriend for a long time, and I was not supposed to have one. And she said, he's got a new girlfriend, but she's been harassing me.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think that Christine is the one that is sending the texts and the phone calls to both me and Danny.
That's right. This is suspicious. I think this is what's going on.
I mean, I'm not saying she's the reason my parents died, but maybe.
But maybe.
Yeah.
Check her. CHRISTINE. Well, her parents eventually did find out about this boyfriend, and her dad said, it's either Daniel or it's either me. And so she had no choice really there. She couldn't really pick Daniel, so she chose family.
Well, and they made sure that she could not contact Daniel. They took her phone away. They refused to let her drive, and basically the only places that they would take her were to school and to piano practice.
Yeah, she was a gifted pianist, and
Yeah.
she would complain to the teacher. The teacher really liked her. He said, she was very gifted. She was very sweet.
Yeah.
But she did complain to me about her parents pretty
Yeah.
regularly. And she said, I wanted to be a kinesiologist, which I'm not quite sure what a kinesiologist does. Do you know?
I do not have any idea.
You know what? I've got the world's information right here at my hands.
There you go.
Kinesiologist. Kinesiologist is a person who studies human movement and uses it to help people improve their health and fitness goals.
Oh, so it's probably like physical therapy.
Like a trainer, maybe?
Or maybe like a trainer.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
In any case, it's some sort of health care. But her dad was like, that doesn't work for me. You need to be a pharmacist.
Yeah, let's go that route.
You need to be a pharmacist. So,
and he also told her when he said, hey, you need to choose between him or me, he said, if you do choose him, don't choose him until after I'm dead.
oh my gosh. Yeah. Here, I felt, at this point, I really felt for Jennifer. And let me tell you why. I'm not Vietnamese, but I lived in that culture gap.
Mm-hmm.
And now, my family was not like this, where they felt like they had control over me or that they could tell me what I wanted to be or what I needed to be. That was not the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I had many things that I couldn't do or that I did even that were strictly cultural. I couldn't shave my legs until I was 14 or 15 years old. I was not allowed to wear makeup until I was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that my friends were doing when they were 11 years old or so, 11, 12, and I had to wait. And that was cultural.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I'm the oldest, so then as my youngest sister came along, she was able to do all
More,
those things when she
yeah.
was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Because by then, they'd been in the United States a lot longer and had assimilated more.
Right.
So I felt for Jennifer because I understood that living in the culture gap at that age and not understanding how to respect your parents' culture can be stifling. It can be very difficult to be around your friends and not have them understand.
Mm-hmm.
But now here's the difference. Her friends were all from a culture where parents expected a lot of their children, because they talked about that school and they showed that school where it was all a lot of families that were very high achieving, and they all expected the same of all their children. What we ran into was Jennifer did not have the grades to get in to become a pharmacist. So even if she had wanted to be a pharmacist, she could not get into school.
Well, and she admittedly said, like, I don't have that type of a brain to where
Yeah.
I make grades easily. She struggled a little bit in that department. Her parents even didn't understand that.
That's right. Her parents didn't get it.
And, that would be like you looking at your kid, you looking at Nova and say, Nova, I expect you
Yeah.
to be just like Catalina.
That's right.
Or Catalina, I expect you just like, and they didn't, there was no give and take on you don't have the ability to do it. Like you either do it or you don't.
That's right. Now, another thing that she was running into was because she had not told them about the boyfriend, they did not trust her anymore. So they took away cars, they took away all her liberty.
Right.
And they were just driving her everywhere. Mm-hmm. And she said, well, I am going to college, so just drop me off. Mm-hmm. She said, I'm getting my bachelor's. And so every day they would drive her to college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every single day.
Yeah. A nice one.
And as it turns out, she did not go to college. She was not in school. She forged her degree. They thought she had graduated.
Yeah, she made a fake degree.
She made a fake diploma.
And went to school every single... What were you doing, Jennifer?
I don't know what she was doing.
You
She
didn't have a
no
car?
phone.
You didn't have a car or a phone. Like, are you telling me you sat there on a park bench for 8 hours a day?
Read the newspaper. I don't know what she did.
I mean, like, you're already there. Why not just go get your...
She couldn't get in. School was not for her, Misty.
But why not get into a school that you can get into if you're going to fake and sit on a bench for 8 hours a day? At least use the time you've got.
Be wise about it. That's right.
But
she was just living in so much bitterness because she wasn't doing what she wanted to do.
But here's the thing where Jennifer was smart is she collected the payments for the school tuition. She didn't have them pay the school because they couldn't.
Yeah.
So she would say, give me
Just
the
give it to
money
me.
and I'll pay for it. Meanwhile, she spent all that money on herself. And so she had racked up
She's
a
doing all right.
college-sized debt with them.
Yeah.
Which was, I would imagine,
many
thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So now we go back to the investigator kind of thinking through how this could have happened. And he says to her, hey, I've been thinking, how did you dial the phone?
Right?
It made me laugh. I know it's not funny, but it made me laugh because she is very adamant. Okay, she's very adamant. They had me tied up. I could not move. This is how I was.
Hands behind her
It was
back.
painful. I heard the gunshots. I heard my mom screaming, and nobody has stopped to think, if your hands are tied, how did you get to your phone? So she made a big show of standing up, putting her hands behind her back, showing how she took
Her phone out of her back pocket.
But did you notice that how flexible she was? Like it was like,
She was crazy flexible.
but if she had been tied, she couldn't move her arms like that.
Right. And also, they were like, you had the phone in your back pocket and your abductors didn't take it from you. If you have a phone in your back
You're a
jean
living
po-
witness. That criminals don't leave living witnesses.
Yeah, and you have a phone in your back jeans pocket, you can see it.
yeah.
I mean, like they wouldn't have taken that when they tied your hands behind your back.
Yeah.
And are looking at your back.
So he asked, he says, can you just show me how you did it? And she goes, well, do I have to? And she said,
I'm really tired today.
It's like when Nova, I'm trying to get her to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got to pick every little piece of lint off my pajamas
Right,
before I go
Could
to
I
bed.
get a 34th cup
This
of
is
water?
what she did. She was like, do I have to? I really don't want to.
It really is hard
It
for
just,
me.
And then she starts crying. She's
brings
like, it's just
back
so hard. It's just so hard.
A lot of memories.
Yes. Yeah. So she gets up real slowly, and you can tell she's totally trying to think through, how would I have done this if this had been real? And then, this is the best part. Well, I thought that her being asked to show how she did it was the best part. But then to me, the best part is her dad comes out of the coma.
Okay, so here's the part that I was wondering how you were going to circle back around, because her mother actually died.
Yes.
Okay, she was dead
On site.
She was dead on the scene. Her father was still alive, and so they took him to the hospital. For 14 days, he's been in a coma.
And they've been worried that he's not going to survive.
Yeah, and they think he's going to die because he's been shot in the head.
In the eye.
Yeah, through the eye into the head.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they, after she puts on this big show, they're like, "Hey, guess what? Daddy woke up."
Uh-oh.
And I know Jennifer was probably thinking, "Man, I hope his memory is not good."
They were like, hey, why would they leave a surviving witness, Jennifer? And
Yeah.
she goes, I don't know, because I cooperated.
I mean, I did what they said.
I mean, I did. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, like the first thing they did was get a restraining order against her going to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, let's try to keep them apart.
Yeah.
So he comes out of his coma and he kind of tells a similar story in that a man with a gun told him to go out of his room and that his wife was downstairs being held up. And then he says, I was pistol whipped. And during all of this, Jennifer just walks down the stairs, just having a chat with whoever these people are.
As if he was just sitting on the couch watching TV and she walked behind him to
Yeah.
go get a drink out of the fridge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So at that point, that's when they immediately were like, hey, you can't go see your dad ever again.
Yeah.
And Han tells the police, he's like, they're at the hospital. Okay. Han Pan is at the hospital. He's just come out of his coma. And he's just answered all these questions. And he is throwing his daughter under the bus. Like, he's not trying to protect her. He's like, she tried to kill me.
Han, me and you both.
Yeah.
Let one of the Gillespie children
Yeah.
set me up to get killed. I will tell on y'all.
You're going to jail.
I will throw
going
you
to
directly
prison.
under the bus and step on your butt while I'm doing it.
And then he says, please do everything you can to get her.
He said, lock that one up and throw away the key.
said-
Not only can she not be a pharmacist, now she's trying to kill us.
He said, use your police techniques to find out what Jennifer did.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, do whatever you can and do not let her near me.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought in a professional lie detector, like a person. This isn't like a machine. This is a guy who is like, he's not law enforcement. He's not a doctor. He is trained to know if you're lying. I never want that man in my life.
Okay, Amaryllis, this is where I know that sometimes you don't watch all the way.
Yes, it is.
He's not. He's a regular detective. But in Canada, it's he explained all this. It's legal for them to lie if it's not if it's not defacing the investigation. So he lied to her.
I did watch it. I just misunderstood. I thought he was a professional lie detector.
He lied and told her he was a professional. That's how good he was.
He lied to me.
He lied to you.
He lied to me.
And apparently you're not a professional lie detector because you did not catch that. But he told her that his name it's Bill, the detective.
The lie detector.
He told her that, you know, just like in space they have satellites. And satellites can see exactly what's going on at that very moment. That they had a satellite that could tell at the very time that all this was going on that she was moving about the house and that she was not tied up to the banister.
Stop it.
That's
I
what
missed that.
That's what he told her.
I might have been playing Wordle or something.
I thought a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he said, and not only that, but I'm not just a detective. I'm a professional lie detector.
See, I thought he was.
And that's how good he is. And then he confronts her and says, hey, listen, we just talked to your dad. And here's what he told us.
First, he said, use all your police techniques to find out what Jennifer did.
What did Jennifer do? By this point, Jennifer was like, I think the gig's up. Yeah. I'm going to have to start selling some stuff. And so they ask her, they're like, you know, what really happened, Jennifer? And she said, look, here's the deal. I did plan for them to come in, and I did plan for there to be a murder, but I just wanted them to kill me. She said, I wanted to die. My parents had found out about my lies. Not only that, they told me I had to pay them back all the money that they had spent on this fake college that I had been going to for 2 years. She paid $2,000 to a guy named Homeboy.
Homie.
Isn't that a real... It's a
great name.
It's a great name. To come in her house and kill her. So
$2,000.
This is where I go, Jennifer, you're not a good liar either. Because why would you pay someone to come in and kill you in front of your parents?
Right.
If you wanted to pay someone to kill you, also, you wouldn't set up the time and place. I mean, this is just me. But if I'm so desperate and I know I can't kill myself that I'm going to pay somebody to kill me, I'm going to be like, hey, surprise me. I don't want to know when it's coming because I'll back out.
Or don't meet me anywhere that my parents are in the vicinity.
Yeah, or don't make it to where my parents have to see me be killed.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. They subpoenaed her phone, and they figured out that Daniel, let's go back to Daniel, the ex-boyfriend, was assisting Jennifer in contacting Homie. Like, he was facilitating all this. He's the person that she hired to come kill her, quote unquote.
Right.
So police didn't believe that either. They did figure that she had orchestrated it. Whether it was coming to kill her or whether it was coming to kill her parents, she orchestrated it. So she was guilty in any scenario, either way. So even if it was on accident that they were killed, it was her fault that they were killed, is what I'm trying to say. And what really broke my heart was her mom's last words were, "Don't hurt my daughter." Which on the one hand is heartbreaking. On the other hand is she'd never had to know that her daughter was this kind of person, like where her dad has to live his life having lost his wife and knowing that his daughter paid someone to murder him.
When they check the phone records, one of the text replies they see back and forth is that Jennifer texts Homeboy, and she's also texting with Danny. She's kind of talking to Danny about the fact that she loves him and she really wants to get back together with him, and that the reason she's wanting to do this to her parents is because she knows that that's the only way they could be together. And Danny is like, look, you know the way you love me? And she was like, yeah. And he said, well, I love somebody like that, but it's not you. It's Christine. Wow. Danny.
Danny needs some work.
Danny, you need to work on your social skills. Then they see that Jennifer tells Danny, well, if that's the case, then call off homeboy. Like, tell him not to come kill my parents.
Yeah.
If we're not going to be together, then I don't want this.
This is really not necessary.
Yeah, I don't want this to happen. And Danny says, well, you said you wanted this with or without me. Like, either way, you wanted them dead.
Yeah.
And so Danny's pissed off because he has set it up for her.
He's
and
about
now
to lose his commission.
And yeah, and now she's wanting him to call it off when he set up all this stuff. And so he tells her, look, you can call homeboy yourself. If that's what you're wanting to do,
yeah,
you call and cancel it. I'm not canceling it.
Yeah.
You've already gotten me into this to set it up. And so it ends up she doesn't call it off. She just lets it go.
She just lets it happen.
Yeah.
Well, either way, she's guilty, right? She's the reason that her parents are dead. So it doesn't really even matter whether it was an accident or whether it wasn't, because if she had not gone. Oh, also, it turns out this is the second time she's tried to set up her parents to be killed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is the second time.
She's been asking around.
She set it up and then called it off another time.
Mm-hmm.
And so as it turns out, Jennifer, Hannah, whatever her name is.
J.H.
You did not. This wasn't for you. She said, I wanted to do it because I was a disappointment.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
No, you
Yeah.
wanted to be with that man that loves paintball so much.
That's right.
That's what you wanted.
And drugs.
This is a Liz situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the good news is she was convicted of first-degree murder and attempted murder of her father, but everybody's been given a new trial, but I don't know why. Did you see that at the end?
Can we also talk about how she pulled a Liz from
Lover stalker.
and all those harassing phone calls she was making to herself.
It was Jennifer.
And to David.
That's what I'm saying. Is this sort of the
Jennifer,
hallmark of crazy people?
Yeah.
The hallmark of stalkers? The good news is that they've all been convicted and they all got life sentences. They were able to catch everybody. They all got life sentences, and the first possibility of parole is 25 years.
Yeah, because the actual killers ended up being homeboy and two of his friends.
Yeah, and they caught him.
Yeah.
They caught him. So anyway, it was, I will say this about this documentary. It was very interesting. I have never heard this story because we don't hear a lot of Canadian true crime things around here.
Yeah.
But it was also really slow because the whole thing was nothing but police interviews.
Right.
You would get to hear from the detective in first person, but most of the time you were just watching footage of them questioning her.
But now, for me, that's not slow. I really enjoy watching interrogations.
I thought it was so slow. You should watch it. I mean, it's a quick watch. It's about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, it is.
It's a quick watch, and I think, it's so interesting. Now we're sensing a pattern in stalkers and in...
Y'all, again, ain't no man worth that.
No, it's not.
It ain't.
There's certainly not a Daniel Wong drug dealing.
And I love you, Jennifer. No, actually, I don't.
No, you don't.
Your mom and daddy loved you, and if you really just wanted to get away from them and have your own life, get a job.
Just move.
Go to school and move out.
Because even though you are part of this culture,
You
live in
American rights.
in Canada.
Right. Or, yeah, Canada.
Canada, and you can move out.
You're over 21. Bye.
Yeah. You've got some freedom,
Right.
So you can go. Yeah, it's a shame that she felt like that, but she was a victim of her upbringing. She couldn't separate the idea that she had to be loyal to her parents. Like her upbringing made it be so that she could not fathom that she could move out and she could get a job and she could have her own life.
Well, did you ever see that documentary, or maybe it was like a 2020 episode or something, where, and I believe there was a woman of a different culture, and she was in the same predicament. Her parents had immigrated here, and they were first generation and still very, very deep into
Not assimilated, yeah.
Yeah, those cultures. And to the fact that in their culture, if she married outside of their religion and race, her father had the right to kill her. And
gosh.
And he did.
Oh, I remember that.
You
It was
remember
a young
that?
girl. It
Yeah.
was a young... Texas, maybe?
Yeah, her dad and her brother killed her.
Yeah, I remember that.
So,
Yeah, that's horrific.
Now, in that case, maybe maybe you need to go to those extremes. But nobody was trying to kill Jennifer.
No, nobody was
Her
trying
dad actually said, pick him or me, and then if you pick me, just wait till I'm dead.
Yeah.
But not, hey, Jennifer, come kill me if you don't pick me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's the whole thing. She was like in her mid-20s, right?
So very young.
She's old enough to know better, but also she was not allowed any freedom to develop. So there's arrested development there. Do you see what I'm saying? Like she could not, her world was so small because her parent, and it sounds like I'm victim blaming, and I'm not. I'm just trying to explain where her head might have been. Her world was so small because her parents had made it small. These are your options. You're going to college, you're going to graduate school, you'll be a doctor, an engineer, or a pharmacist. The end. And you'll take care of us because that's how we do. And listen, I'm not here to put down anybody's culture. We have our own different things than American culture. I mean, I totally get it. But as a first-generation American, and she's a first-generation Canadian, I know that I've got certain rights that my parents didn't have when they were growing up, and I have certain liberties culturally that my parents didn't have. And she should have known that too, and had taken that road out instead of setting up her parents' murder. Because no matter how strict they were with her, there was no reason to have killed them.
Well, and also, I have no grounds to understand that part of the story, but the part of the story that I looked more at was that she was smart enough to know that she could get a lot of money if they were dead.
Yeah.
She was smart enough to know.
They asked her, did they have any insurance? She was like, I guess.
I don't know.
Maybe.
She was smart enough to know that she was the only child, and if they were both gone, all those things would be left to her. And she had never held down a job or tried to get any education to hold down a job.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, I think Jennifer was lazy.
Yeah.
And I think Jennifer was greedy. And I think that this was the best case scenario because she didn't have to answer to anybody anymore.
That's true. But I think the way her parents raised her might have made her that way. They were very hardworking. And she should have observed that and seen that the fruits of their labor are what's keeping her in beautiful cars, in a beautiful home, in a private school.
Right.
But the fact that she had all those things, I think, contributed to her laziness. Do you see what I'm saying?
It was
in
like
my family,
it was
the opposite. I saw how hard my dad worked, and my mom worked very hard in our home, and my sisters and I, in turn, are very hardworking now as adults.
They expected Jennifer to have these values that she didn't work to get.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. And she didn't, and she couldn't understand the value because she didn't have any experience in it.
Sad story.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, it's another episode, Misty. Have a good night.
Good night.